Welcome to the class of protein modeling. Dear students, on the last turn we have discussed about the two methods like ab initio methods and homology modeling methods. Okay. So now today we are going to study threading method, which is used if the sequence identity is in the range of greater than 15% to 15% to 25%. So we can use this method, or below the 30% identity. So this method is suitable, which can be used to model the unknown sequence or unknown protein, and you can characterize the unknown protein by doing the modeling. So this is also known as the fold recognition methods. Okay, so how we can, what is this method? Because we want to predict the tertiary structure of given protein. So in the threading methods, first we focus on the sequence structure alignment. That sequence structure alignment is important to predict the structure of the protein. So sequence alignment structure approach are based on the observations, because in the PDB we have the similar structures, okay, very similar. So the unknown protein can share the similar fold structure with the known structure that is available in the protein data banks. So there are the different types of the structures characterization or classes. So you can see here 4 helical bundles, Tim barrel, okay. So these are the types of structures. So, and these are available in the PDB database. In the PDB data bank, you can find out the structure, Tim barrel model, globin protein. So in the set of the solved structures. So solved structures are available in the PDB data bank. Okay, but what is the important information that we derive from this? We have, there are the unique fold that are found in the nature, in the structure of the protein. So there are the unique protein fold. So we have to discover those unique fold in the unknown protein sequence, unknown protein in the sequence, in the protein sequence which do not have, whose structure is not defined in the protein data bank. Okay, so we can say there are the fewer than the 1000 different protein folds. Okay, so one approach to, there is the different approach in the threading also. So one approach to the protein structure prediction is to try to determine the structure of a new sequence by finding its best fit to some fold in the library of structures. Suppose we have the library of the structures. Now we are aligning the unknown sequence with these structures. So we have to align the unknown protein sequence with the known structures. Okay, so you can say these are the types of the folding pattern a sequence can get fold. See, there are the different patterns of folding. So suppose if we have a new sequence, this is a known sequence MND, VKA, YK, MNT. So this is the example of, we have the new sequence that is which do not have, whose structure is not defined. So and a library of known folds, we have the library of known folds. So we have to do the alignment between these sequence and the structure. The goal is to figure out which of the fold is a good fit to the sequence. Why we are doing this? Because in some of the cases, if the sequence identity is low, then also the different sequence can share the same structure or same fold. Okay, why this happens? This happens due to because amino acid has a similarity in the nature, in the chemical nature, like aliphatic, the polar amino acid which have the aliphatic chain, or the basic amino acid like arginine, lysine and histidine, they will share the similar properties. if any amino acid is changed, like arginine is present in place of lysine, so there may be no change in the fold structure also. So different sequence can share the similar fold structure. Okay, so in the two different sequence, on the one sequence we have lysine, in the other sequence we have histidine. So obviously there will be no change in the fold structure, or there may be lysine also, there may be arginine also. Okay, and in the case of basic amino acid, nature will be same. Glutamate can be replaced by the aspartate. So in that case, in the case of conservative substitution, we may have the different sequence, but they may share the same protein structure. So as a sub-problem to fold recognition, we must solve the sequence structure alignment problem. Namely, given a solid structure T for a sequence, suppose we have solid structure T, like S is the unknown sequence and T is the sequence. Okay, T1, T2, Tn, and a new sequence that is called S1, S2, Sm. Okay, and we need to find the best match between S and T. This is our target. Okay, first, now what we will do, there are two sub problems, like we can divide this problem into two. Like first one is evaluating given alignment of S with structure T. Okay, first we will do the alignment with the structure T. Okay, these notes are I have taken these notes from the Mona Singh at MIT. You can also download these notes from there. Now the next problem is efficiently searching over possible alignment. What are the possible alignment? The first thing is evaluating the given alignment of S with structure T. So alignment is important, and efficiently searching over possible alignment, there may be the more alignment also. So we need to search all the possible alignment. So here you can see this is the sequence which contain different amino acid like L, E, V, K, F. Okay, like new sequence has L, E, V, K, F and its best alignment to a particular structure. How these amino acid can be aligned to a particular structure. So there are at least three approaches. So we can use the three approach in this case. In the threading method, we have the three possible ways. What are the possible ways? First one. Now first method is to just use protein sequence alignment. That is, find the best sequence alignment between the new sequence S and sequence T. Now we have two sequences S and T, and we have to compare these sequences. Like S, we have to align S with T, because T has the structure. Then we can infer amino acid with their corresponding structure, and we can construct the structure of the fold. If there is a similarity between the sequence identity, then we can use the fold of the known structure. Okay, to model the protein, to model the unknown protein sequence. Okay. Now who is there? Okay, this is then used to infer the structural alignment. So structural alignment is important. If sequence is similar, there may be the similar fold structure also. Even if the sequence do not share the exact identity, we can align the different nature, same nature of the amino acid with each other, like arginine with lysine. Okay. So because arginine has the same nature as the lysine, so we will not count this into the mismatch. So sequence will show the change and the different amino acid, but there may be the same fold structure for the two different sequences. That similar fold structure is important. So this information is then used to infer structure alignment. If Si is aligned with Tj, means I means column and I means row and J means column. Okay, how we will align that? Like SIS position in the 3D structure is the same as the thesis. I will show you. Scoring in this case is based on the amino acid similarity matrices. We can use the PAM 250 matrix, means point accepting mutation. Okay, percent accepting mutation means how many mutation we allow in this algorithm. So this is the dynamic programming method which is used. So this is the non-physical method. It doesn't use structure information. The major limitation of this method is that similar structures have lots of sequence variability. Means similar. The basic idea behind this method is the different same structure. Similar structure have different sequences. Okay, means different sequences share the same structure. This is the logic behind this method. Second method is, means in the first method we use the hidden Markov model technique. The second method is, you know how to align the sequence. If anybody don't know, we can study it separately. Means what is the sequence alignment? Means sequence is aligned. One sequence is alignment A, B, C, D, like A, T, G, C. It is aligned to the another sequence. The sequence is just placed one above the other. Okay, then we align the sequence. Okay, I think you know it. The second method we will describe 3D profile method. This is the another method. What is this method? Actually, this method uses structure information. What is this? Means we aligning a sequence to a sequence. We align a sequence to a string of descriptor. Means instead of aligning sequence to a sequence, in this method, sequence is aligned with the descriptor of the target structure. Means the one sequence is aligned with the property of the another sequence, not to the sequence. Means sequence is not aligned with the sequence. Like MYKT is not aligned with the another sequence. It is aligned with the descriptor. Descriptor means properties, like how buried it is, buried, partly buried, exposed. What is the property of amino acid? That is important. And one sequence is aligned with the property of the another sequence. What is the property of the amino acid that is present in the another sequence? What we see in that, the fraction of surrounding environment, that is polar or apolar, in which environment it is locus secondary structure alpha, beta sheet or other. Okay, so this is the method we see in this figure. You can see this is the profile method. We make the profile of the non-T structure. For the non-T structure means where amino acid fall, in which region amino acid fall, means if it is found in the buried region area of the, so you can see by the arrow we can see the E is found on the surface, the P2, B3. So this is the buried, very buried region on the right hand side. On the left hand side there is a less buried region. On the left hand side we have exposed region. Okay, E means exposed regions. Okay, and as you move below, okay, and this is the lipophilic, sorry, and this is the highly polar, sorry, very buried means highly polar. Okay, so this is very buried region and highly polar region, and as we move below, this is the fractionally polar region. Okay, so these are the different profile. We can assign these profile like E, P2, P1, B1, B2, B3. This is on the basis of, okay. So we assign the 6 classes of environment to each position in the structure. How we assign? These environments are E, P1, P2, B1, B2, B3. So these are the profile. This makes the profile of the amino acid. Depend on the number of surrounding polar residue. How buried the position is. Since there are 3 possible secondary structures for each of these. So we have because there are the 3 possible structure means alpha, beta, and what is the other? Loop. alpha, beta and extended region. So there are the three types of the secondary structure. So if we multiply these 6 classes by 3, then we will get the 18 environment class. Okay, it is clear. Actually we have assigned the profile. These are the 6 category, and there are the 3 type. We have 3 types of structure like alpha, beta and extended loops. Okay, so we will assign these 3 structure, 3 possible structure for each of the amino acid. So for each position in the structure, we categorize it into one of the 18 environment class using these characteristics, because we are using the environmental variable. So this will add a physical dimension to the problem. Like how? Because we are comparing the unknown sequence with the structure of the that is present in the PDB. So in the PDB we will see the known structure, the amino acid of the known structure is falling in which region. Okay, because we are using the already solved structure, known structure. So in the known structure we see the profile of the amino acid, and then we see the descriptor. The descriptor will be aligned to the unknown sequence. So on the basis of that, we can assign the same profile. If the residue is similar, we can assign the same profile to the unknown sequence. Or even if the residue are not similar, but they can share the similar profile. Like arginine and lysine, they will share in this method. They will share the same profile, because arginine, lysine and histidine, these are the basic amino acids. They will share these amino acids will share the same profile. So their class will be same. So on the basis of that, these amino acids will be assigned the same class. Okay. Now how we are going to do? We have a no sequence and we have the solid structure. Now we will make a table. We will make a table and count the number of times. How many times residue appear in the alpha class, how many times residue appear in the beta, or in each environment. Then we will calculate the score Ij, low-code score. How we are going to calculate? And this will take the natural logarithm also. So first we will calculate propensity of the residue J in environment I. Okay. Environment like polar, buried, these are the environment. Okay, because column wise. So here you can see the W is coming in the, like alpha is the class, alpha structure, it is coming in the B1 region. Phenylalanine, propensity of coming phenylalanine in B1 alpha region is 1.32. Propensity of coming Y tyrosine means in B1 alpha region is 0.18. So in the same way. So this we have the environment class here in the first column, and in the second, third, fourth column you can see these are the different amino acids. On the basis of that, we can assign the profile for each amino acid. Okay, then we can model the structure. So this is the formula: propensity of residue J in environment I and propensity of J in any environment. Okay, so we will divide this. Means how we are going to calculate? Like arginine is present here. Arginine, propensity of arginine is present in environment. Means in polar environment, what is the propensity? In the non-polar environment, what is the propensity? Now we will divide this propensity. Means propensity of residue J in any environment. In any environment, उसमें आने की कितनी propensity है? मीन्स कितनी बार वो उसमें आता है, जो सॉल्ट स्ट्रक्चर है कितनी बार, हाउ मेनी टाइम्स इट appears in any environment. Like sometimes it appear in the polar arginine, sometimes it may also appear in the non-polar, in the buried, or it can appear in any environment too. So what is the propensity? So we will divide the residue I, the propensity of residue J in a particular environment like buried. Then we will divide it, the propensity of that amino acid in finding in any environment. So this is how we are going to get. So here you can say denominator is obtained from amino acid frequencies present in amino acid. So we'll count how many times. This is just number. Okay, you don't need to worry. This is the number of means number. How many times it is present in that class, in that environment, like buried, polar. How many times arginine appear in the polar? How many times lysine appear in the polar? Then we will divide. Then we will divide it by how many times it can appear in any region, like buried, partially buried, or any class. So we'll divide this and we'll get this value. In that way we'll calculate the low code score. So here you can say in that way the environmental class can be assigned for each residue. So in the column we can see, or now we can build a 3D profile for a particular structure using this table. So using this table is important. Using this table we can model the structure. For each position in our structure we determine its environment class and the score of a particular amino acid in this position depend on the table we built above. Okay. So the particular position of the amino acid depend means at this position the protein can be found in the alpha helix or beta sheet or in which region. So this is the environment class. In which environment class the amino acid appear, like WFY. So this is the gap penalty. So in the structure we are giving the heavy penalty. If there is a gap we are giving the 200 penalty. Okay. For the loop we are giving the 2 because loop is the open structure. And the alpha and beta these are the organized structure. For the organized structure we are giving the heavy penalty in the alignment. And we are giving very low penalty, gap penalty in the loop structure because loops are open structure. So then to align a sequence as with structure, we align the sequence with the descriptors of the 3D environment of the target structure. To find the best alignment we use a 2D dynamic programming matrix. So this you can see the S sequences here. Suppose these are the name of number of amino acid 1, 2, 3. This can be aligned with the descriptor of the class, like environment class, like E1, E2, E3. So here we can make the table. We can align S1 with E1, S2 with E2, S3 with E3. We can do it or not? One sequence can be aligned with the descriptor of the other sequence, not with the sequence. Here in the threading method, like homology modeling method, we are aligning sequence with the another sequence. But here in the threading method, in this profile method, we are aligning sequence residue with the descriptor, with the environmental classes of the another sequence, not with the sequence. These, okay. So in the column we are taking the environmental classes, not the sequence. In the rows we are taking sequence residue. But in the columns we are not taking the sequence. We are putting environmental descriptors, means these are defined by the environmental classes, and we have already discussed about this. There are the 6 multiplied by 3, 18 environmental classes. So thus to use the 3D profile method of full recognition for a particular sequence, we calculate its score for all the structure. So significance of a score for a particular structure is given by a Z score. Z score shows the significance, how it is important, by scoring a large sequence database against the sequence and calculating. Okay, so we are calculating Z score here. Okay, for a particular structure, like Z score. What is Z score? This is this depend, means how much is the score. Score is score minus mu, means mean. Mu is the mean score for that structure. Mu is the mean score for that structure. S is the standard deviation of the score. So this Z score is obtained by this. So threading models are analyzed on the basis of Z score. So in this formula, mu is the mean score for that structure and S is the standard deviation of the scores. Advantages of the 3D profile method over regular sequence alignment is that the environmental tendencies may be more informative than simple amino acid. Okay, so here in this method, now you know sequence is aligned with the descriptors of the other sequence, means environmental class of the other sequence. So this is called profile. So profile is important property of an, if the sequences are dissimilar and they are not showing the similarity or identity, then it is very important here property should be aligned. They may be the similar, the two sequences are dissimilar in the residue and in the amino acid, but their amino acid profile may be same. So on the basis of that features, okay, on the basis of the amino acid property, we are aligning the one sequence with the property of the another sequence. So here the properties are aligned with the properties. Structure information is accurate. So this method is a fast method, reasonably good performance. It has the good performance. The major disadvantage of this method is that it assumes independence between all position in the structure, because each amino acid has the different profile. So each amino acid has the independence, but in the structure when the amino acid are combined with each other, they are presenting together in the cluster. So sometimes there may be effect on the structures also. So this is the only one. And there is the third method. Our third method for sequence structure alignment uses contact potential method. Most threading method today fall into this category. Contact potential method means it uses the surface residue. In this method, interaction in the protein structure as a sum over pairwise interaction. So the formalization of the problem is this, like given a protein structure P with position P1, P2, Pn and sequence, we have the residue S1, S2. Now we have to find out like T1, T2, Tn, where 1 is less than or equal to T1 is less than or equal to T2. Okay. So indicate the index of the amino acid from S that occupy Pi. Okay. So there is a one structure like P means structure like P1, P2. So means these have the different structure and sequence. These are the residue S1, S2, S3. Or T is our target. Okay, target structure. Now we are aligning. If the pairs are aligning, like in the one structure we will go I2 and J2, and then we will calculate the score, means whether these are aligning with each other or not, I or J. So ST or ST. So we have to calculate the pair. This is that matter. At particular position they are aligning with each other or not. So this is called contact potential method. Whether the two amino acids are in the same position or not, they are in the contact or not. Okay. So it is calculated. It is maximized. So this is problem is NP complete for pairwise interaction. If the contact graph for the structure is planar, there are approximation algorithm for this problem. So mostly we do not use this method, okay, but it is important. The interaction is important in this method. So one approach commonly used to find threading is to disallow gaps in core segments. So generally the gaps are not allowed in the core segment like helix, sheet. It can be allowed in the loop only. Okay. So to put the lower and upper bounds on distances between core segments. Some algorithms also use exhaustive enumeration and branch and bound techniques. So these are the name of the algorithm which is used to find out the best matching, best threading. Okay. So the how the score is calculated, it is important. Means contact is important. Contact interaction is important. Whether residues are in the contact or not in the two structures. So we need to see the contact profile, whether they are interacting with each other or not. So generally the 6 angstrom distance is taken cutoff. This is the cutoff distance, and then we count the number of the times the amino acid I and J are in the contact or not, whether I or J are in the contact or not. Okay, then we take the natural logarithm also and we normalize. There are the several methods to do this normalization. So it is done by the expected frequency. So additionally, there are many variations in defining the potential. For example, in addition to pairwise potentials, some researchers consider single residue potentials. So in which we take into the account the hydrophobicity, secondary structure or distance dependent intervals. So it is important, in this method it is important to counting a pairwise contact separately for intervals within 1 minute. So pairwise interaction, pairwise contact is important. Okay. An interesting question for the threading approach is that as the number of the non-fold increases, will threading method improve? Okay. It may be improved because if the number of the non-fold will be increased, then this fold, obviously whatever unknown sequence we have, they may share the similar identity with those. All the different sequences may have the similar fold structures. So in the last method, the counting pairwise interaction is important. Okay. So today we have discussed about the three approaches of the threading. Three approaches of the threading method. The first one is these are the notes that is given by the lecturer Larry Brown. The notes was provided by the Mona Singh. Okay, the first approach is to align the sequence with the structure or the sequence structure alignment approach to this problem. Okay, sequence structure alignment means we are aligning the sequence with the structure that is present in the PDB database. So in there also sequence alignment is important, but we also take into the consideration the folds. Given new sequence and we are aligning it with the library of non-folds. Okay, so sequence alignment is important in these methods. It has the two sub-problems. It consists of two sub-problems. Evaluating a given alignment of S with the structure T. Efficiently searching over possible alignments. Okay. Then we can model this sequence. So what is the best alignment? The best alignment is used to particular structure. So this is the overall method. Okay, the threading method is based on this approach. The sequence structure alignment is important because fold recognition is important. So first approach is to do the sequence alignment between S and the sequence T. Okay, then position is compared. Position of amino acid is important in the 3D structure, means in the known structure. So S align, S residue means S amino acid and known sequence amino acid align with the particular amino acid that is present in the 3D structure, means known structure. That is important. If there are more matches, then it is important. Structural matches are important. Okay, whether the amino acid is same or not, or okay, in the structure it is same, so then it is important. Structure have lots of sequence variability. Second method is based on the profile, means sequence is aligned with the descriptor, not with the sequence. The sequence is aligned, the one sequence and no sequence is aligned with the descriptors of the another sequence. Okay, this is the profile method in which we have the six classes, and 6 is multiplied by the 3 protein structure like alpha, beta and loop. 6 multiplied by 3, so there are the total 18 environment classes. This is the formula. Now we have another method, contact potential. So in this the contact sharing is important, whether the two amino acids are in the contact or not. So we have to calculate the total number of pairs. Okay, for two one sequence and structures. So this is important. So pairwise contact is important on the basis of that. So these are the 3 total methods. These are the references. Do you have any question? So these are all the approaches of the threading method. Okay, you should know the concept of the threading. I have told you about the basic concept of the threading. Okay, do you have any question?
No.
Okay, this lecture is on the recording. Okay, if you have any question you can ask. I will upload this lecture on the YouTube. I will also share this file okay, on the YouTube. Sorry, on the Gyan Sanchaya. You can read that file there. For the concept study, it is a good file. These are the good notes, because in the everywhere you will see the software, so you will not find the basic concept. So basic concept is given here. Okay. So everywhere you will find out the tools. You can do the modeling, practical you can do using the loop. There are so many online tools that you can use for the modeling.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Do you have any
Ma'am, copy check.
कॉपी चेक ये इस लेक्चर में डिस्कस नहीं करना है. यू डोंट हैव टू डिस्कस इट विद हियर. आपको लेक्चर, इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू द लेक्चर देन यू कैन आस्क. we'll discuss it later.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yesterday I got your copies. Okay, so fold structure is important. Means the basic idea behind the threading is the two different sequence can share the similar fold. They may have the same structure because different arginine and lysine, they share the similar properties or similar profile. So this is the basic of the threading method. This is the concept, because two different amino acids, so sequence will share the different amino acid but structure may be same. Okay, they will share the similar structure. Okay, okay. So now lecture is over. Okay, do you have any other question? You just read this file, then you can understand, then come up with the questions. These are the examples. Okay, now lecture is over.